First year, we'd have a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about the second year, but I know.
Well, again,
This
like she
upcoming
said,
year, we'd have a lot of work.
like she said, she can do both, you
Yeah.
know,
So,
because you could do projects, you
Right,
might be getting grants too, you know.
right, yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true, yeah, grants. So it says review the human resources needs of our community. Would that be part of the retain, say we pick the retainer? That would come off of that retainer.
What, again, whatever, Councilwoman Nancy, like Councilwoman Carpenter, sorry, like, whatever, I'm sorry, whatever you would want, what is what I would do. So like, if you feel like you need a complete needs assessment, we would build that into the project. If you feel that we just need the handbook, the performance reviews, those type of things, I follow, you're the client, I'm a consultant, so I follow whatever you think you may need. I don't wanna, I mean, again, I will still tell you if I see a gap. Like I will be honest with you and be like, you have a serious issue, like a serious liability issue here, if I come across it and I see it. I will not share that with you, but I will follow your lead on what you need.
I think at this point, I think you've answered most of our questions of what we wanted. And if and when we do decide to go with someone or you or whoever, we can always do project-based things. We can take the retainer, like you said, and we can move to a project-based thing. If we, you know what I mean? It's all project-based, you know? So I think, I mean, I'm very content with what she had to say. Is everybody else? Okay. Tracy, we thank you and appreciate you coming down.
No, thank you for having me, absolutely.
And we will be in touch. Stephanie will be back, you know,
Okay,
she's out of town this week. So. All
thank you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll hear comments from the public. Please approach the podium, raise your virtual hand, and state your name and address, and you have to try to limit it to 3 minutes.
Good evening, my name is Greg Cromer. I actually live occasionally in Stevens City, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley, but I've been traveling the country, and this year I've been working in Pennsylvania as a photographer, aerial photographer, using an airplane to photograph every community in Pennsylvania. And I just wanted to show you the photo that I took here.
Oh, that's cool. What was your name again?
Greg Cromer, C-R-O-M-E-R.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was like, show this to council, see if there may be any interest in a copy.
When you're done showing it to everybody, if you could point it to the camera.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
Good people of the internet can, well, I'll get closer, but you can go to pilotgreg.com and don't do it today, do it tomorrow. Because I just noticed that the rain picture didn't make it. But you can see the whole collection. So far, I've got about a third of Pennsylvania done. On top of that, I've got about 5,000 places across 32 states as I've traveled for almost 18 years. You don't have any questions for me?
I have your card here that you dropped off today.
Yes, so I sell these in different sizes. This size 20 by 28 is the biggest one that fits under my arm on Wendy days that save my biscuits. This size is 195 framed and mounted. Smaller 16 by 20 is 95. Those are great for Christmas gifts, I think. And the biggest one that I frame is 27 by 40, and that's 295. I can print them bigger than that. I don't frame them because Mr. Murphy and his famous law bites me every time.
Greg, why Pennsylvania?
Well, I started in Virginia, and then we had like 4 years of drought, and nothing looked good, and I got tired of taking nasty looking pictures. So I started looking for the prettiest places, and now I'm at the point where 5,000 sounds like a lot, but Wikipedia says there's 151,000 communities in the US. So I'm trying to find the most beautiful places at large. And the Allegheny River was calling my name. I had friends who had lived in Kittanning and told me how beautiful it was. So I shot every town from Pittsburgh up to Emlenton this year. And every town sparkled. You know, it's just kind of become a thing with me because every once in a while I hear a story about how these made somebody happy. And there was a man in Confluence, Pennsylvania that bought one for his brother who had moved south, but was dying of cancer, couldn't come home. We gave it to him at Christmas time. 6 months later, the gentleman passed away. 6 months later, his widow came to my store and told me that he looked at it every day and was crying, was remembering his friends and things like that. So that type of thing just keeps me going. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. I've shot a good chunk of Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, got the upstate of New York some, but Pennsylvania, especially Western Pennsylvania, is my home. Thank you for that question.
Any other questions? Very good, thank you, and we'll get your info and we'll discuss it in one of our workshop sessions.
Just pass the card out.
That's fine,
And,
that's fine.
Thank you.
Apologize for not having this on the internet tonight. It will be there
That's all right.
tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope you have a pleasant evening.
You too, sir, thank you for coming. Just happened you have to stop in today.
Yep, I just popped in this afternoon, and every once in a while that works. So you
Yeah.
get this, oh, it was last night, I'll see you next month.
Very good, thank you.
Felt like any current league.
Any other comments from the public? Nothing from the virtual? Okay, we'll go to the boards. I have nothing. The mayor doesn't have anything written down. We'll go to, I have Stephanie's report here. First things first. The stamp progress survey is due October 16th. Remind council to complete the survey. They can only make 20 choices. Next thing up is a stamp presentation, October 22nd, council meeting to discuss the next steps. Remember what their I forget their names coming back. Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah. The next thing up is, she has info on here for Text My Government. She wants you to read up on that and any questions or whatever.
This looks like a text service.
Yes,
but
that's what it looks like.
We have a text service,
I
so.
understand.
Yeah, I think that,
I'm curious, Mark.
This is cheaper.
this one's a little bit cheaper, so in doing our due diligence, we're just considering all options. We've recently had a few issues, a few hiccups that we're still trying to resolve, but in the meantime, this is another option. Also, this one has the ability to transfer all current contacts to this new system, and people can also text questions to this text number, so there's the opportunity to increase public engagement by allowing that back and forth. So for your consideration.
And
A little bit more functionality.
Yes.
I like-
Our tax alert system now is year-to-year contract, correct?
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
And I get what you're saying about the interaction ability, but I just wonder if we would give Jira an opportunity to match the price and services.
I think we should.
Yeah, okay,
She's just telling you to read over this now, look, and then
okay,
when we bring it up,
yep, thank you.
all right? That's it for that. Now we're going to the finance report. September income was $128,457.23. September expenses were $217,380.04. Our net income as of September 30th, 2024 is $249,660.86. Next up would be code enforcement. His report's here. I don't think we read every single violation. She did say that they're still working on expanding the report. Hope to have something ready for November's meeting. To go through all these, and it'll be what's closed and what's not closed. So that's that. Next up would be the police report. Mr. Jamelis is gonna read that.
The police report for September 2024. Complaints received 159. Total crimes reported 52. Total crimes cleared. Arrest or other 48. Total persons arrested 28. Crimes code summary issued 11. Vehicle Code Summary Issued 21. Borough Code Summary Issued 7. Borough Parking Tickets 82. Ordinance Violations Report handled blank on that one. Revenue sources, magistrate fines collected, $3,537.17. Borough fines and fees collected, $850. Police reports purchased, $45. Municipal fines, $28.51. Total fines and fees collected would be $4,460.68.
Thank you. Next up will be fire, Dan P.
Evening, council. The fire company answered a total of 8 calls for the month of September, starting on 9/6 for a standby in station for a working structure fire at 540 Springdale Drive in Penn Hills. 9/7, an odor of natural gas in a commercial structure at 728 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona. On 9/10, a structure fire at 805 Pennsylvania Avenue in Oakmont for a residential garage on fire. 9/18, a vehicle accident on East Railroad Avenue in Verona. It was a bicycle accident. 9/25, a residential fire alarm at 158 Howard Street in Penn Hills. That was a false alarm. 9/26, a 2-vehicle accident at 10 Allegheny River Boulevard in Penn Hills. 9/26, we were called to the fire station at 465 Parker Street to assist the police with a search for a missing person. And 9:30, a commercial fire alarm at 1 Beemore Drive in Verona that was a false alarm.
Dan, can you tell us more about the bicycle accident?
So I wasn't personally on the call, but part of the report that was written, we were called there for a possible pedestrian on a bicycle that was struck by a car. Upon arrival, it was determined that the person on the bike had some sort of medical emergency, and whoever called thought that they were hit by a car.
Talked to that kid's father, and he had that electric bike. He was riding an electric bike, which he's never rode before. He was trying to do the serpentines, and that was what his medical emergency was. He lost a couple teeth, he got some stitches here and here.
Those bikes are scary.
So, yeah.
Can I ask Dan,
Yes.
on 9/26, assisting the police, was that a person that there was a news story
Yes, it
about?
was.
And she was found safe and sound?
Yeah, it's about, after we were briefed by police, and we started the search about 5 minutes into the search, she came home on that.
Okay, great.
Do you want to mention that thing real quick?
Yeah, I can, just to bring to light to council, the 2008 twin pumper, 2018 twin pumper was recently over for its annual inspection. We, about a week and a half ago, the check engine light came on, but it didn't pose any issue with the truck, so we had them check it when it was over there. And it was determined that it was a header heater, part of the DEF system, for the exhaust on the emissions portion. And from what I got back today, they're telling us that a sensor and the heater both need replaced. And the quote that was given to us was just under $5,000 each. So we are currently waiting from Tri-State Fire Apparatus, who does our annual periodic maintenance, for a quote from him. Because we do believe that we can get a better rate.
That price was from Cummings.
Yeah, that price is.
And, the issue with the lights on the other truck, it's all taken care of
They're
now?
ordered, we're just waiting to receive.
Okay, and then be installed.
Correct.
Anything else for Dan?
And that first quote was for, labor. Oh,
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Next up would be the EMS report, and it is in your packets. I don't have anything to expand on that. Next up would be the solicitor's report. I don't know if if he's still out there. There he is.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Alexander.
I did submit a written solicitor's report. It's in everybody's packet, and I don't have anything else to report. I would entertain any questions that council may have.
Greg, just for everyone's awareness, the requested mutual aid agreement with Harmer, the renewal, came at the request of Harmer Township and is the renewal of no former written agreement, just a general understanding.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Greg, do you know if we have, any kind of written agreement with Oakmont? I know we do with Penn Hills, and that was recently done earlier this year, but I don't remember if we have any written agreement with Oakmont or just a verbal understanding.
I know that I never prepared a written agreement with Oakmont for the years that I have been here, and that's been 20 some years. So I think it's all been a verbal understanding.
So I wonder if it'd be worthwhile to look into having a written agreement with Oakmont as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll just state that I would feel more comfortable tabling this until workshop when we have the mayor present, because I think he had some grammatical suggestions. I could be mistaken. That's okay with everyone.
That's what workshops for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
so since it's an action item, Craig, do we have to make a motion to table that till the workshop?
At the time, yes. I mean,
Okay,
you could take it out of order if you wanted to, but at the time it comes up on the agenda, pursuant to Ms. Redzik's suggestion, I would make a motion to table it to the workshop meeting.
very good. Thank you. Anything else for Mr. Alexander?
No, thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Next up will be the engineer, Mr. Pitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I submitted my written report. I did just want to call attention to the table on the fourth page. That's something new that we're doing to track the last few years of grants. You can see I went back to 2021. And overall, the borough has been very successful in the grants that we've obtained. There's only a few in there that are unsuccessful. Most of them, they were just take a shot at. We didn't have a very high chance on the ones that were unsuccessful. So, I mean, over the past few years, we've been successful with a lot of the money and funding a lot of the improvements around town. So I know sometimes it gets confusing with the status of all the projects. So hopefully this can help track some of those in the future.
Yeah, do you want to mention what we got today?
The notice to proceed. So we received the notice to proceed from the county for the Sylvan Way reconstruction. That's the CDBG project from Grant.
Grant to James.
Grant
Or
to
James
James.
to Grant. Right.
Correct. So that will be sent from the cog out to the contractor. Hopefully it can be paved this year, depending on what their schedule is and asphalt plants closing around Thanksgiving. We're kind of in the last crunch. So as I know more from the contractor, I'll make sure to let the borough know.
Very good, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Pitt?
Could you expound on number one, just for the sake of the public, so we know what's going on up there?
Yeah, so the health department permit for the Curbs Field. We've gone back and forth with the county several times on this. They, in the middle of our correspondence, the county regulations changed. So that kind of threw a wrench in everything. But we're on track to have the permit as a shared kitchen use. And what that means is that it's a facility provided by the borough. beyond that, no, we're responsible for maintaining it, such the grease trap or just the appliances. Beyond that, each individual person who uses it, such as the athletic association or a church or anything, would just have to apply to the county health department for their own food use permit. They're very simple to obtain, but permitting it that way kept the liability off the borough. The other way we were looking at permitting would put all the responsibility on the borough. So if someone serves bad food and someone got sick or even worse died from it, that responsibility and liability was on the borough. So we went the way of permitting it as a shared kitchen use. So people can still cook there, they just have to contact the health department ahead of time and get their own permit, which I have not personally done, but talking to the health department, they said they'll help those organizations through the process, and it's pretty simple.
And given those options, it is the Parks and Recs board and the Parks Committee's recommendation that we go with that option.
Yes, Sherry.
Yeah, it was both, all of those points were brought to both Parks and Rec board and Parks and Property Committee, and both board and committee agreed unanimously that was the best option. So,
Yeah, and for some groups such as Lower Valley that prepare their food at another permitted facilities, I believe the Verona, the Village Inn, you do not have to obtain the permit. This permit is only for individuals that are going to be preparing food
raw meat
at the facility. So if in other cases like that, if you're preparing at a facility that's already permitted and bringing it in already wrapped, you don't have to get your own permit.
So, but if people were to go in there and cook food, then would they have to be safe service certified?
If it's being sold.
If only if it's being.
So like if you rent that pavilion for a family reunion and you have crock pots there or something, we have no say on that.
Okay.
Because that's a closed thing. If it's anything that would be open to the public or being sold, you have to have the permit, which then that food safe serve comes into play.
So we proceeding now with getting the new sink, the grease trap and the hand washing station
Correct.
put in.
Everything was just kind of put on hold until we figured out the permitting issue.
Okay, so now,
We'll
We
move
can move
forward with
ahead.
that. Yep,
and so by spring, at the latest, that should be.
should be up and
installed.
running.
All right, very good. Thank
that's
you.
good because the park closes in November, and I don't think that's right now we're using kitchen.
Right, but just for anybody listening who might be thinking about next year, then they can know that they can use it the way it was originally designed to be used.
Very good.
Thank you.
Is that it, Matt?
I have a question. Matt, how did we decide on North Avenue reconstruction for this year's LSA application?
We had a meeting with Joe McAndrew, or Representative McAndrew. And after some of the feedback from some of the residents that had come to some of the meetings, we felt that that was the best thing to focus on for the money that's available through the LSA.
What was the best?
Okay,
North Avenue, because we've had it as other grant options in the past. But due to funding limits, had to break it up into blocks, into phases. Like meeting with Representative McAndrew, he recommended doing one project and keeping it all together and getting it done at one time.
Oh, reconstruction full length, okay.
Representative McAndrew also mentioned in a separate conversation, looking at Jones Street, which is also identified as an active corridor in our active transportation plan. Are we set on North Ave? Is there any reason we wouldn't explore one that's an identified active corridor?
Which one would be rated worst on robotics, I would think, probably.
That's another good point. We may want to look at the data. I think brick roads were excluded from robotics, but
So that would make a little.
I'll double check.
The worst.
I'll double check that, but I know construction wise with Jones already being paved, that is a much cheaper project than ripping out all the brick that we have done on other roads like Second. So I'll take a look at that, but I think financially, if we were gonna pick or choose one, it makes more sense to go after the money for North Avenue. And then look at possibly budgeting or some of the smaller grants like CDBG for Jones.
Would, I guess, the brick would be gone eventually.
Correct. If we were successful with that grant, it would be the same as Second Street.
Yeah, just remember center, right?
Yeah,
So you want the bricks on.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Anything else for Mr. Pilch? Okay, next up would be, council members' remarks, would be Ms. Redzak.
Thank you, Mr. President. First on my agenda for tonight is I just wanted to briefly follow up to our Verona Borough Walk audit, which many of you participated on Friday, September 27th. We had over 50 participants, including Representative Nick Andrews, Senator Costa, County Councilman Nick Petoulas, Superintendent Neil English, many high school students, business owners, residents, and several entities represented, including PennDOT, Friends of the Riverfront, Oakmont Council, Oakmont's Borough Manager, our engineer, our solicitor, and our Borough Manager, of course, and Sergeant Francos, Officer Dessel. I'm probably missing some, but I just want to thank everyone for your enthusiastic participation. I just sent a follow-up email that you should have received with a survey just to capture any thoughts that might have come to mind after our walk. Again, the purpose was just to explore our viaduct, our Allegheny River Boulevard from Wildwood Avenue to College Avenue, Oakmont. We had 3 different groups that sort of focus on different segments and just kind of collectively put our minds together and take in observations about what makes it walkable or less walkable, what features make people feel safe or unsafe, and hopefully start us on the path to addressing some of those. So thank you again. 3 specifics that I wanted to bring up to council coming out of that would fall more into the hands of us as the local elected officials are, number 1, requesting what is a more formal and technical road safety audit from SPC. So that was the group that guided us on our more observational pedestrian audit. This one will be done by traffic engineers and would involve a lot more technical stuff looking at the safety. Oakmont is interested in requesting this with us, and we would potentially include a larger area all the way from River Town Plaza to Holton Road in Oakmont to potentially start to look at the deeper safety issues and possible solutions for those. That would be completed at no cost to the borough, and we can request it at any time, but the sooner the better because they're looking at 2026 at this point.
Which SPC?
Southern Pennsylvania Commission. The next thing I also want to put on our radar is also at no cost to the borough is requesting a mid-block crosswalk study from PennDOT. This is required, as we all know, Allegheny River Boulevard is a state road. One of the focus groups on our walk looked at the area between Center and South Avenue and the need for something in between that because many pedestrians are crossing in between Center and South as opposed to taking the extra 10 minutes to walk to either South or Center to cross where the crosswalks are. So a mid-block crossing would hopefully help to alleviate people kind of crossing in between cars and darting out into traffic randomly and make it a little bit safer as well as more walkable, particularly with several new businesses coming into town. I think this would be a good asset for the borough. Again, that would be at no cost to us, performed by PennDOT. And then a third thing I put down as a possible outcome is, and I know Matt, we've talked about this in the past too, but reevaluating the crosswalk fees for Center and Allegheny River Boulevard. Currently, as you know, and we saw again on our walk audit, we have an indicator button. It changes and allows people to cross for about 8 to 10 seconds, but often this isn't enough for people to cross. Enough time if you are perhaps older, or maybe you're pushing something like a stroller, or you just generally need more time. So I propose that we look into this a bit more to possibly have the phase, as it's called, change to one that when the button is pushed by a pedestrian, all the lights turn red and then pedestrians can cross. It's called pedestrian scramble. So they have the exclusive phase to cross without having to worry about cars turning, if that makes sense. So, I don't know if anyone has any questions on those 3 things or any other observations anyone wants to share.
Well, everybody knows, it doesn't take 10 minutes to walk from the middle of Old White to the south. So everybody knows.
If it takes you 10 minutes, take it one step forward, 5 steps backwards.
You shouldn't get walking.
Too quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my.
I got a bump leg and I'll still make it to the end of the block and I'll make it the whole way down the block in 10 minutes.
I want to crosswalk in front of my house too, so. Cars have to stop when I decide to walk across the street.
The world is your oyster.
I think that it would be more beneficial to the businesses. That people would have to walk the whole way down the street to the corner, and cross the light, like I've done for 40 years. Because then you walk by all the businesses, you might see something in one of the windows that you might want to
True.
buy instead of literally jaywalk. We're enabling jaywalk with this. That's my opinion.
One part of the study PennDOT says is they literally just sit there and count the number of people who actually are jaywalking to determine whether or not it's worth it. So it would really just be data to help us determine if we would want that.
I mean, but what if it's the people that, what if it's the people that work there and then they run across the street to run the news and then run back to their shop 6 times a day? That's not gonna help pedestrians. That's one business owner that like doesn't wanna walk down to the corner. I just,
This is just a study though.
yeah, I'm for the study. I just,
Yeah.
I'm for the study. It's just, to me, it's ludicrous. It's like we have a problem at the grade school of too many people going to pick their kids up, and Verona's a square mile town. Like, I'm all for walking. I just don't understand, like, if we're gonna walk, let's walk. Let's walk our kids to school. I don't know. It's ludicrous to me.
Wait to public comments, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't disagree. People will tend to choose the path of least resistance, but the good thing is we can get more data on the situation, free courtesy of PennDOT and discuss further.
I think everybody's for getting the study done.
I agree. I think it'll be very informative.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, people are crossing in the middle, no matter what.
Yeah, right.
And so as long as that's gonna continue to go on, we can't leave a police person there ticketing everyone for jaywalking. So let's get the study and maybe put one in.
Well, I mean,
It would make it safer.
Paid for the police officer.
yeah. And
But
have you been through Oakmont lately? Every single one of the signs that they have up on the boulevard that says pedestrian crossing has tire marks on it.
I don't think,
Because they've all been ran over.
I don't think you can put one of them in Verona.
Well, you can't.
No,
But I'm saying, they're not obviously helping in Oakmont. If they're gonna hit the sign, they're gonna hit the person. They're not paying attention.
There's people that park on one side of the road because that's the way they're going to walk over to wherever.
Yeah.
Or they park on the other side and they walk to the other side. They're not gonna walk down all the way and it's just.
We boast our town's walkability, but then we wanna create shortcuts.
I just also wanted to say on a different topic, Trish, it is part of the
Yes.
walk audit.
Yes.
And I keep hearing that we're gonna correct this on center at ARB, the center part of the road. That particular crosswalk is basically invisible. And my hope is that before the winter sets in, that our department could paint that crosswalk white again.
Matt, I think you mentioned a third party that can come in and do that, the crosswalk markings on both local and state roads that we could contract with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had a chance to get that yet, but if you could share that with us. I know Stephanie was in favor of waiting to next year's resurfacing, but I think many of us would like to see that paved or painted this year.
But when they resurface, are they gonna resurface that part that's on center?
No, that's what she's saying. They probably won't. Cause they're only coming in and tar and chipping it next year. They're not repaving it.
Well, I have a
Just
question.
fog seal,
What's that?
just fog seal. It's not gonna have stuff.
Oh, good.
I have a
But they're
question.
not gonna repaint the lines.
Yeah, anything that they cover will be repainted.
Okay,
So like the crosswalks up the hill or down the hill a little bit won't be, but anything crossing ARB.
I had a question about, the intersection question. I believe the reason it was repaved in the first place because of the water main break.
Right.
And what happens when we have water main breaks and Oakmont Water has to come dig up the road? We put in full length paving, so they have to pave the whole way across the street. What happens when they have 3-4 water main breaks in a year? We gotta keep digging up the road and repaving it. We have to keep painting the crosswalks every time they do that?
Well, they painted the crosswalks up there.
Yeah, my
They
understanding.
painted the ones on
Yeah,
Center?
Yes, they did.
But what my
They are
understanding is that they used some kind of paint that didn't last for very
That's like,
long.
it's not there.
It's there, but it's very light.
It's very faint, but
Alright.
they didn't use the usual stuff that lasts.
Oh, I don't know what they use. I'm not an engineer for PennDOT.
With some,
I just know that it was painted.
I'm not an, no. it
That's, I
wasn't
didn't know
that-
if they're responsible for painting that, because a lot of times water main breaks happen
Can
at
we-
intersections.
Can we edit our full width paving policy to specify the paint they use for crosswalk markings?
Can we discuss that in another
I'll put it on for workshop.
workshop?
It would
Um,
be part of the.
I think we get a little out of line with everything.
okay, discussion. Number 3, the crosswalk phase I was talking about is called exclusive pedestrian interval. Thank you all for those comments. I also wanted to just mention a grant that I've mentioned last meeting, and in my committee meeting and with Matt here, I wanted to make sure I mentioned, I'm not sure who's working on it because I know, Teresa attended some workshops, but the Main Street Matters program is a great opportunity for us to potentially do something with our business district. So I want to keep that on everyone's radars. It is due November 15th. So if everyone could take a look at that and we could kind of brainstorm at workshop, that would be great.
What are we looking at?
The Main Street Matters grant application materials. I'll resend it.
Okay, thank you.
Last but not least, I want to briefly comment on the week without driving, which was, what was that, September 30th through October. October 6th. I made it about 3 days. I'm still planning to do 7 days, just obviously not consecutively. It was definitely a challenge, especially when you have to be certain places, certain times, especially with children. Many of you know, daycare will wait for no man or woman. But anyway, it was a really good eye-opening experience, especially in line with the other active transportation efforts that myself and all of us are involved with. So just wanted to report that you too can participate, hopefully with me next year. So that is all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want you to know that I tried really
You on
hard.
the walk.
Came on a lot, but I just couldn't make the whole week. I put extra gas in my truck that week for you.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else for Trish?
I just, one quick question. Trish, you said twice that was no cost to us. In other words, would PennDOT take care of all those costs?
PennDOT does the studies for us, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Next up will be Dr. Carpenter.
Thank you. First, I just wanted to report on the neighborhood watch meeting that was held here last night. It was very good attendance. There was about 35 to 40 people who came. And the mayor and Fire Chief Teehee and Sergeant Francos and a couple of people from the Lower Valley Ambulance Service whose names escape me at the moment were all here and they spoke. BOV Morford gave some remarks as well and hosted the meeting and facilitated the meeting. It was very interesting for a lot of the people to be learning what was being shared by all the people up here, sharing their information. So that was a good meeting. And there'll be more of them, like a couple times a year, I think. I wanted to touch back on the mirrors and I had gotten in touch with Matt about them. And Matt, can you fill in people about where we are with the mirrors on Ridge and Second?
We just have to get them ordered and get them in. And I talked to AJ and they've put them up before, so he knows what to do. So as soon as I'll get with
Mhm.
Ridgeon first and then on second. So whenever Stephanie returns, I'll get with her to get them ordered and then AJ will get them up.
Okay, excellent.
We didn't want to add a stop sign anywhere there.
I don't know where there's a stop sign and where there isn't.
There isn't one coming up Ridge, turning right onto First, or coming from First, turning left onto Ridge.
I think
Yeah,
you
and
need
you can't.
ordinances for those.
You can,
Can't add a stop sign.
yes. If you've ever driven Ridge in the winter, with stop sign, at the corner of Ridge and First, you're not getting killed.
Going up.
Going up should not have a stop sign,
No,
but should coming down have a stop sign. Also, in that patch where it's like a roller coaster, or is anyone gonna do something about that over the winter? Because I don't have the plow.
Probably not. That's a low water.
Last I heard that, and I'll follow up with them, they're supposed to be working on it at the end of this month.
Oh, really?
There were some discussions about whether it was just gonna remain a patch and they were gonna pave the road again. And then they had internal discussions of replacing the line. So last I heard, they were getting their 3 quotes from contractors to place that line. And it was tentatively scheduled for late October.
Last I heard that they were gonna replace the 2 lines and then repave it.
Correct.
Then there was still discussion that they weren't gonna mess with the line, they were just gonna come in and repave it.
Yeah.
So that's the last I heard too.
The last I heard, I think I talked with one of the foremen about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and they were getting quotes for the replacement. And then the paving would happen after, so I'll follow up with them, because I think
That's terrible up there.
Fairview is also slated for replacement in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Talked to one guy there. And that was supposed to be done 3rd week of September.
Correct.
Apparently, there's a new housing plan going out on Saxonburg by Rose Ridge. And they have to get all them tie-ins done in there. So that's what their main goal is right now, is to get them tie-ins done. They're supposed to do this by the end of the month, is what I heard.
Yeah.
Fairview.
Yes, very good, yes.
But I'll give them a call tomorrow, see
Okay.
if there's an update.
Oh, Mike,
Because if not, they need to at least do something temporarily on First,
oh, that's terrible,
because it is rough.
Yeah.
terrible.
Trish, to clarify, if you remember last year, maybe 2 years ago,
Mhm.
we had a very big drainage issue on the corner of First and Ridge.
Yeah.
We had to put a new catch basin in, or we had to fix the storm sewer there, I believe. There's a big ice buildup on the corner.
Yeah.
And it was causing sheeting.
Well, that was up on Ridge.
That was on the corner of Ridge and First.
No, it was up in the middle of the block, I believe.
No, but there was also on the
Oh,
corner, I
okay.
think, somebody kept commenting saying the water was
Right.
going down in their yard because it was freezing over the sewer grate. And that was causing a big ice patch right at the corner of Ridge and First. So imagine we put a stop sign. Because I think we
think we had
did
to
get
do
some
some
repairs and it's better, but it's still not.
Yeah,
There's a natural spring at the end of Ridge.
Yeah.
right,
Always gonna have water issues,
right.
always. Yeah.
Anybody else,
Yeah.
Nancy, you more?
Yes, I have more.
Plague in it.
Yes, sorry.
No, we're good.
Good news about the mirrors.
Okay, but thanks for everybody for bringing up those things. In terms of doing, CPR classes, first aid classes and such with, Lower Valley Ambulance Service. One of the people from LVAS who was here last night was Patty. And I, texted with her today, and she is getting definitive dates of when they can be available for any of those classes. So, I am finally, moving on, with getting, dates for that. Today, I also had a brief meeting with Chief Teehee, and we talked about several things, the fire vest program and the tax relief program with both the county and possibly the borough if we chose to do so. That would bring possibly more younger people into the fire department as a volunteer. Dan, would you mind giving a little more detail for people about what we discussed?
The discussion was about the Fire Vest program offered through the community college of Allegheny County. Fire Vest is the Fire Volunteer Education Service and Training Scholarship Program. They started in 2009, and every year they offer 200 scholarships to people that 150 scholarships to new recruits for fire departments and 50 scholarships for existing firefighters. And what that does is it locks that individual into a volunteer fire company for a minimum of 5 years. And it provides them a free associate degree or other type of trade program. Discussing with Dr. Carpenter today, we've advertised and tried this in the past with very little success. It's been several years since we approached that road, and we had a discussion about how the Public Safety Committee can possibly help us maybe advertise to draw a younger crowd into the fire service. Also, we had briefly discussed on a tax rebate program that a lot of municipalities in the state of Pennsylvania are taking advantage of. Not only for recruitment and retention, it helps retain current volunteers, but it also attracts new volunteers and also brings people into the community, because to take advantage of a program like that, you have to be a homeowner in the specific community that honors that program. Just a brief example of some of the communities in Allegheny County that do it: Aspen, Walboro, Bradford, Woodsboro, Crescent Township, Braintree, Harrison Township, Oakdale. The list is very long. Pennsylvania started this program in 2016. They amended it slightly in 2020 when the decline of volunteerism started going downhill to try to attract volunteers. So I speaking with Dr. Carpenter, I told her that I would gladly sit down with the Public Safety Committee to discuss some finer details of those programs and see what possibly one can do to incentivize some volunteers in the community.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
And I will leave you just something to read onto that. This is program guidelines.
Okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Do you know if these are available online?
Yes, everything is.
Okay, I'll get with you on how to find that and I can share it with you. All right. The only other thing I wanted to say is my next public safety meeting is going to be next Tuesday at 5:30. And I reached out to Mr. Mark Springer, who has been established as our EMS coordinator. Especially when we would have an emergency, he would be involved in that. I thought it would be nice to bring him in to meet people. So for whoever wants to be here, meet him or be on Zoom, that'll be available. And before I finish, I just would like to mention that maybe we could kind of send our energetic prayers to all the people in Florida who are going to be affected by this terrible storm, Milton. I know several people on the west coast of Florida, and I'm wishing that they would have left yesterday and they did not. So let's just send our prayers and thoughts.
About the Asheville ones and all them too.
Absolutely, with recovery from Helene.
On that, building on that, didn't the mayor mention something about the fire department? Isn't the fire department doing something about
Oh,
the,
no, Recupero Landscaping.
or, I'm sorry.
The Recupero
Just send
Landscaping
supplies down.
Yeah.
sends a lot of stuff down there.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe the fire department is also.
So the chief of the New Canton Fire Department, Ed Saliba, organized a mass drive of donations of firefighting equipment. They already sent down a trailer full of items,
hose that actually had 2 fire engines donated to get down there to the Carolinas. As well as they were collecting cleaning supplies, water, things like that. So, the one that was mentioned last night, was currently completed and the shipment already went. And I haven't heard of any further programs coming in.
I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be more and more opportunities for people to donate to go both to, you know, people affected by Helene as well as people who are going to be affected by Milton. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Next up would be Mr. Floda.
The Parks and Recreation Board is currently doing park assessments and inventory. Our meeting is next Monday. Should have all this completed in 2-step meeting by then. We also, at our last meeting, voted on having a special Halloween movie in the park. It would be October 25th at 8:30 p.m. here at Railroad Park. And the movie will be Beetlejuice, the original one. And the rain location will be here. That's all I have.
That's it. Thank you. Next up would be Mr. Long.
All I have is the finance committee will have a draft budget to present to council for the workshop meeting. Finance committee, we have a meeting next week at 6 o'clock on Monday. And we'll be talking about it in the action item. We will have a special public budget meeting Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. If it's approved in at 6 p.m.
So Tim, the meeting you were saying on Monday,
That's private.
okay.
It's public.
So, and I did have a question. Originally, when we were all sitting here last meeting, we were saying the 7th. I'm assuming it got moved to the 6th.
Wednesday, November 6th, yes.
Yeah, but we had said the 7th. But there's a ARB PA meeting on the 7th, so is that why it got switched?
Pretty sure. I was talking to Stephanie, she said this was the best time.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thanks, Tim. Next up, Mr. Jamelis.
Thank you, Mr. President. So our last personnel meeting, we just went over, our topic was just improving communication among, borough personnel. How to just improve communication amongst one another, and so we had a lengthy discussion on that. But the main thing was we had on that same evening, we had an interview with Officer Okonak. Present was Vince, Sylvia, myself, the mayor, Sergeant Francos, and the interview went quite well. And we had recommended hiring Officer Okonak. And I'm pleased to announce that tonight we're going to do a motion to ratify the approval of his hiring. That'll bring our force up to 5. Well, eventually we're going to have 5 full-time officers once he tests, and provided that he passes the test and becomes a full-time. We're going to have a full-time, 5 full-time officers on our force.
He's being hired part-time, though, just so everybody
Yeah, he's
knows.
being hired
That's what you
full-time.
should talk about.
Yes. But with the idea that we're gonna hopefully get him on full-time. So, but we are definitely moving in the right direction finally. And just wanted to just bring that up. And that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Next up will be Mrs. Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also was here last night for the meeting that we had. I was so pleased to see how many people attended. It just showed a lot of interest, that people care about this town, care about the safety of it. It was extremely well presented, and I even mentioned to our chief, Dan, he did a wonderful presentation. I'm going to say it, you were here, and actually all the people did, and everybody was at attention. It was extremely well done, and we need to do more things like that to bring the people together and let them know what our thoughts are, what we're doing, and how we can improve things, and how they can suggest to us how we can do things better. I thought it was very, very well done. And I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next up, reports of special committees, ALOM, Mrs. Speranza.
Yes, sir. I just have one thing to report about that, and that is it's save the date, the 2025 spring conference, educational conference has already been set, and the dates are April 3rd through the 6th, and we will be getting more information on that. So it sounds far away, but it really isn't. Time does go quickly. So that is the only thing I had with ALOM. That's the only thing they had that was a little different in the Erie conference they're working on.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Next up was CLOG. I was at that meeting this month. There was a girl there that gave a presentation. Her name is Bree from Amazon Business. She just gave a quick presentation. CLOG's going to look into this. The organizations like CLOG can join for free, and then the towns can piggyback off of that somehow and order from Amazon Prime. Don't, you get the cheaper price and whatever. So when I get more info on that, I'll bring it back. And,
So you mean the people of the town can order?
No,
Or just the
no.
borough?
the borough or the fire department could piggyback off of that too.
So they don't have to pay the Amazon
Right,
Prime price?
right.
Could be like for, like office supplies, that kind of stuff.
Anything that Amazon sells. Yes.
Which is everything.
Right. But I did ask about the fire department, and she said, yes, they can piggyback off it too. You just have to pay, the fire department would have to pay the bill, and however, it wouldn't go to the borough. You know what I mean? We wouldn't order something from the fire department, and the borough would pay it, and then we'd have to reimburse them. You have your own account.
Oh, great.
So when I hear more on that, that's that.
So it's like Netflix when you're allowed to have 5 accounts.
Just give it to everybody. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. But no, they changed it. You're allowed to have like 3 different accounts now, but you have to pay for it. It's a little more expensive. Because before everybody on the block could use it.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I had was from COG was the grant that Matt talked about, the Silverway construction. And then, Matt, about the sanitary sewer lining, did we get that grant too? Or is that still out
Yes.
for bid?
It's out for bid. It opens on the 10th.
So we got that one too. So that's all I have under COG. Old business, there's nothing. Ordinary business. I need a motion to accept the minutes from June 25th of 2025, 4.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
Second.
second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to accept the bills from September of 24. Motion by Mr. Long,
Second.
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. Next up, I need under new business and action items. I need a motion to ratify the approval of hiring of Trevor Okenak as a part-time police officer for the borough of Verona.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Jamelis, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next up, I need a motion to approve the resignation of part-time officer Steve Saranovich effective September 24th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
Second.
second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions?
comment, just want to thank Officer Saranovich for his years of service to the borough of Verona. I think it was over 20. He did an exemplary job when he was here.
Yes, he always represented very nicely. I agree.
And good luck and best wishes. Stay
Yeah,
on
The very best one.
Any other questions? Comments?
Nice guy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next up, I need a motion to approve. No, we're gonna change this. We need a motion to table.
No, you're doing.
This is for the special budget meeting.
Okay, I was going off of this in here.
C is special budget meeting.
I need a motion to approve the advertising the special budget meeting for November the 6th at 6 P.M.
I'll make that
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Sorry about that, guys.
This is the one we're taking.
This is the one, now I need a motion to table the mutual aid agreement with Harmer until the workshop meeting.
I'll make that motion.
So moved by Ms. Redzak, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. That's it for the motions. Announcements, newsletter, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Okay. Newsletter, we're currently taking ads and articles for the winter issue, which will cover December, January, and February. The ads and articles are due on Friday, November the 1st. And we would really appreciate if we can get them in as soon as possible. Holidays are right around the corner. We'll have to get everything in early. For the articles, Dawn Wharf can be reached at 412-828-3607 or at veronanewsroom@gmail.com. And for the ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, the next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, October the 15th, 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And the upcoming events are as follows. The Verona Farmers Market Trunk or Treat is going to be on Thursday, October the 24th, from 4 to 6 p.m. The Verona Chamber of Commerce Halloween Parade will be Saturday, October the 26th at 11 a.m. The Hometown Holiday Parade is going to be on Saturday, November the 23rd, and that will leave here from the Borough Building 5 p.m. The Verona Chamber of Commerce Ornament Contest / Jolly Jamboree, that is to be announced. We don't have a date for that yet. Windboro Ministries, the next community dinner will be held on Wednesday, October the 30th at the Methodist Church. It will be from 4:30 to 6:30. Dinner is going to be provided by the Verona Moose and it will be hosted by the Verona Methodist Church. Historical Society, next meeting will be on Thursday, October the 17th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And Melissa Mariano from the Heinz History Center will speak on National Heritage Italian Month. And that is open to all the public. There's no charge to attend. The meetings are absolutely wonderful. We invite everyone and anyone to come. You would really enjoy it. And that concludes all of my information. I just want to mention one other thing, almost forgot. Don't forget the Beats and Eats function, and that's going to be this Saturday, October the 12th, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. here at Railroad Park.
It's at noon, I think.
And it's a free function, a free event, and there will be food trucks and a lot of good music, good camaraderie here.
Sylvia,
All are invited.
Sylvia, I just want to mention, I believe it starts at noon.
The time I was given was 1 o'clock.
It's actually in the newsletter at 1, but it was an error. So I believe it starts at 12.
Okay,
Yeah.
I stand corrected then. That was the information I was given.
It's all right.
No, it's fine. I was fighting with someone else about it. So,
Are there any questions or comments?
Sylvia, what was the deadline for the newsletter again?
That would be on
November first.
Friday, November the 1st.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia.
You're welcome, Trish.
It was a very thorough and comprehensive report. I was just gonna add here that the next public meeting for the BOV Trail Initiative will be this Thursday, the 10th, at the Oakmont Community Library, starting at 6 until 8 p.m. All are welcome. Additionally, the ARBPA, the Allegheny River Boulevard Preservation Association, will have their next public meeting at Still City Brewing next month, but put it on your calendar Thursday, November 7th from 6 to 7:30. Sylvia mentioned Deeds and Eats, which is here. I believe we also have a 5K happening this Saturday at 11 a.m. It's the annual one hosted by Intergroup.
Don't trunk or treat.
Sylvia.
Sorry.
I have something to add to that.
Okay.
Lower Valley Athletic Foundation has started their 6th annual toy and clothing drive for local families in need during the holidays. We distributed around 20 boxes in about 15 local businesses. They will be in businesses until about December 15th. Please go to Lower Valley Athletic Foundation's Facebook page to get a comprehensive list of all the businesses that make donations out.
I think we do that here.
Yeah, there's one here. There's one
Okay, when does it start then?
started October 1st.
Oh,
They're currently in businesses now
okay, until,
till December 18th, December 20th. It all, we deliver them personally to
Oh,
the
okay.
family, so it all depends. Sometimes businesses have other stuff. They want them out of there by December 10th.
Sure.
Sometimes they've been there till December 24th. It all depends on how much room we have to store them
right,
and all that. But we keep everybody updated on Lower Valley Athletic Foundation's Facebook page. I'm not gonna list all the businesses because I'll be here for 5 minutes.
Right.
There's a list of them.
Thanks, Vince. Appreciate it.
thanks.
Anybody else under announcements? Okay, we'll go to comments from the public. We'll hear public, council will hear comments on public related items. Please approach the podium, state your name and address, or raise your virtual hand and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
It looks like Sherry had the lead.
Hi, I'm Michael Yurk, 315 Brant Avenue,
Okay.
and I'm Brown.
Before you leave, if you'll sign your name and address on that form.
No problem.
Thank you.
Long-term resident. I was listening to about the pedestrian traffic that we're having. Have we, or you as the council, actually like pulled the data over the last 10, 20 years or so? About like pedestrians being hit, car wrecks caused by pedestrians going across the street, they walking, things of those nature.
We have some data, it's limited. The most frustrating part is there's a lot of near misses, which we don't have the data capturing.
Right.
Are you particularly asking about the boulevard or just in general?
Well, I mean, in general, it'd always be a thing
Yeah,
looked at, but
Yeah.
specifically for, I was listening to you guys comment about.
Yeah.
Surveys.
yeah.
If we could actually,
Yeah, a lot of that data actually came when we did our active transportation plan for the people, including some people up here sitting here like counting people. Our manager recently mentioned that there is a company that can use some sort of AI to like help generate that data, which would definitely help to expedite people action and make better informed decisions. But yeah, in answer to your question, we have some. It's not comprehensive enough, but yeah, using what we have.
all right, I just.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for coming to the meeting.
Yeah.
Anybody else? This time I'll take a motion to adjourn. First by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you for everybody for coming and have safe travels on.
I was going to talk to you about that. How we
Oh, that's right.
See you, John. I can do it if you want.
How do you,
Give me. You go down to the bottom.
right there?
Far right, no, far right.
Yeah, right
There
there.
it
You don't need it here, do you?
See it, Fred?
No, did you turn the microphones off?
That's what I-
That's the only reason I went in there.